Hello everyone, this is Pico Entertainment and we are back again. And we're going to talk now about the final Black Widow trailer that was released a couple of days ago. And really, it just reiterated what I felt about the previous trailers. You know, it really does look like it's going to be an awesome entry in the MCU. We get super exciting action sequences, car chases, fight sequences. It's all got that really kind of clean, pristine look about it, that really kind of Winter Soldier tone of a much more grounded, much more, if you like, visceral, like intense action that is separate from the more cosmic elements that we've recently seen from, you know, the Captain Marvel and the Infinity War and Endgame movies. It's really kind of now that Earth-based solo adventure that we're looking at here. And this trailer, it really showcased the best elements that we've seen from the previous trailers and TV spots that I've commented on before. It just looks fantastic. It really looks lean, exciting, and everything looks fantastic. The CGI, the more practical stunt work, everything just really looks convincing, and I just think this is going to be potentially one of the best MCU entries on here, despite the fact that, spoilers now if you don't know, but we're dealing with a Black Widow that we know died in Endgame. So that's been the burning question about this film, is how essential is it really to the MCU continuity going forward if we're dealing with a prequel story which takes place shortly after the events of Captain America Civil War, if anyone didn't know. How essential is this? Is it worth getting hyped up about this installment? And I think, if anything, any story or any action, if it can draw you in, the story itself it's trying to tell, regardless of whether it connects to something in the past or in the future, if it can grip you in with the story, its individual plot that's trying to tell, then I think that's a kind of way to overcome any burning issues of whether it's worth going to see or not. So this trailer itself, it actually gave us more focus on the character played by Florence Pugh. Her name is Yelena Belova, and she's the, if you like, the sister figure of Black Widow. As we know from this project, Black Widow is going to be surrounded by more of her family members. You have Rachel Weisz, and you also have David Harbour's character as well. So there's going to be a much more of a family supporting dynamic around Black Widow. And this trailer, we have a narration of the Florence Pugh character, and she's talking more with Black Widow about basically what was her cover story, you know, to hide the fact that she's a sort of secret assassin. We get a lot more insight into Taskmaster, and we get the revelation now that he is the head of the kind of the Red Room. Anyone doesn't know, the Red Room is the training initiative that was to generate the Black Widows. If you remember, if you go back to Age of Ultron, we get those quick flashbacks where we saw Natasha Romanoff when she was much younger, and we see her training. We get to learn that she was sterilized because obviously they didn't want the assassins to have or be able to bear any children, right? So that's what the Red Room is, and we get another shot of many of the assassins training, and we learn now that Taskmaster is the person behind that training program. And we see another shot of when he's looking at the big screen, and we see the footage of Black Widow when she was in Iron Man 2, and she's taking out those guards in that sequence there. So this is very much, I think, a case of the kind of Black Widow's past coming full circle, where she was part of the program, she left the program to join the Avengers, and now the Taskmaster has reinvigorated that training program. And Natasha Romanoff, obviously one of the most notorious of the Red Room agents, they're going to come back and try and find her, attain her. And there's a lot more dialogue in this, particularly from Florence Pugh, and especially at the end where we see the other characters. Again, we get that scene around the table of them kind of just winding Natasha up. And that's going to be very important, you know, when you've got someone of the Black Widow character who's very much a solo character. The only real kind of connection that we've had is between her and Hawkeye. Previous MCU entries, we'd see them talk about the previous missions, what happened in Budapest. I remember Budapest very differently from you. He's really been the only character that she's had that kind of personal connection to. So if you're going to do a solo Black Widow movie, it's very important you have a group of characters that she can bounce off of and give a bit more of charisma, and that family dynamic is going to be where the main humour, if you like, comes from. We all know that MCU movies, they need to have a certain amount of humour and kind of human interaction between the characters, and that family dynamic is what's going to be key about this. So yeah, we get a lot more about the training program. I've read online a lot of theories that we're talking about cloning, and are they going to clone Natasha, because there's a lot of theories going around that we're going to try and revive the character. As I've mentioned before, she died. But if we're going to, let's say Black Widow proves to be very successful at box office and they want to do sequels, how are they going to bring Natasha back? Right? They could go on and try and explain how she was revived by Captain America in Endgame when he went to put all the Infinity Stones back in place. But that's going to rely on a lot of exposition, and that won't be needed or required in a solo adventure such as this. You want to keep it to the fact that Black Widow and her family, they're trying to uncover what's going on with the Red Room and stop future people being put under this Red Room influence. You don't want to strain out of that. So you don't want to go start into the whole cosmic elements. That's just going to confuse things and be too much, right? So if they were going to bring Natasha back, I could subscribe more to the cloning theories that a lot of people are putting out there. That would make a lot more sense. That would be a lot more easier to explain, and that would fit a lot more within that kind of spy, espionage, more grounded take. If you go back to Winter Soldier, we had the whole conspiracy angles with Hydra taking over the government or working within the different areas of S.H.I.E.L.D. So any sort of cloning initiative would make more sense on that angle here. But just again, this final trailer, it just really looks great. It really looks fantastic. Every character looks like they completely fit the roles. Those Russian accents, for the most part, they sound convincing. The only issue I've got really is just the kind of look on Taskmaster. I've mentioned in previous trailer reviews that there are other kind of online pictures, if you go on, other renditions, other interpretations of Taskmaster that look better than what we got on this version here. It's just that there's the kind of face makeup. I don't know. It looks a bit kind of skeletal or kind of frail. I know he does have a skeletal face if you look on the source material, but I don't know. I guess I would want a much more of a bulkier presence, a much more physically imposing presence on there. But he still moves great. You've got a great sequence where he's taken on the Red Guardian and he kind of jumps up and he kicks him and he does a backflip over. All great. You've got all these shots of Black Widow running, slow motion through explosions. We see the Florence Pugh character. She does that quick spinning move when she takes out that guard. We have that fantastic sequence again that we've seen from previous trailers where we get a kind of skydiving battle between Black Widow and Taskmaster. They're flying through the air. She slides down on all this kind of falling debris and they're fighting through the sky. That all looks fantastic. So, yeah, again, it really reinforces my belief that this could be potentially one of the best MCU entries and a great start to Phase 4. And I think it's the right move to start off on a much more grounded level superhero take as opposed to go all cosmic again. So start on a grounded level and then build your way up. I know we're going to get Eternals later on this year in November, and then we're going to get Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and of course Shang-Chi later on down the line, and then of course with Thor and Love and Thunder. But those are really my quick take on this trailer. Really, like I said, there's not a lot more to be said. It just gave us a bit more background into what Taskmaster is, and we get a bit more of Red Room and a lot more involvement of the Florence Pugh character. Again, we can speculate, is she going to take over the role of Black Widow going forward if they want to keep the character around for Phase 4 and Phase 5. We assume this is going to be Scarlett Johansson's last album, but like I said, you never know. If Black Widow goes on to gross close to $1 billion, they may keep Scarlett around for future installments, and just have the Florence Pugh character as a kind of supporting character, and maybe she could spin off and have her own installments. I know that's a lot of speculation down the line, but that's the potential avenues they can take. Again, this is a big advantage the MCU has, where they can build characters slowly and then have them venture off into their solo adventures. But on this trailer alone, fantastic, great action, great effects, looked very exciting and convincing. Great that they've got this family dynamic and supporting characters to put around Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff. So again, I'm really excited. And again, you can get past the whole prequel issue if you can convince people that the current story you're telling is interesting and invigorating and compelling. And I think these trailers, all of them, have done that. Great musical score behind this trailer as well. I loved all that. And again, the whole action sequences and fight sequences really have a flow and dynamism to them, and I think that's great. So yeah, I'm really interested in this, but you let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you really interested in this? Are you not so really interested in this? Do you subscribe to any kind of theories going on by any kind of clone or body kind of duplication or replication, and is that going to be the best way to kind of get Black Widow from this prequel entry into the current continuity going forward for the Phase 4 movies and Phase 5 movies going ahead? But that's it for now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe, and I will focus a lot more on any more coverage that we get on the Black Widow. Not long now, 2 months to go now to the premiere, May the 1st. There's been so far no announcements that they're going to push back the release date following the whole issues of the coronavirus. Hopefully within 2 months, we know it won't be eliminated, but hopefully the spread will be kind of declining as such. But I think 2 months is a good enough time for them not to kind of draw anything back from the release date on here. And I don't think there'll be any issues with the box office. I think you're probably going to look at maybe anything north of $700 million. That would be my safe estimate for what I think this Black Widow movie is going to perform. And I think that's great. Not every MCU movie is going to make $1 billion, and we should never expect that. We should take it all on its own merit. And I think $700 million worldwide for a Black Widow movie, considering what's going on with the coronavirus at the moment, would be a very good success. So you let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll provide more coverage as we go ahead. And that's it for now. So take care of yourselves, and I will see you very soon.